Welcome to Put a Word on It, a podcast presented by Men of Valor. In each episode, we're going to talk with a different man, but each one with a unique journey from brokenness to freedom. I'm your host, Rudy Kalis. I spent over 40 years as a TV sportscaster, then retired and joined the Men of Valor program as a volunteer. So join the conversation. Reconciling men to God, their families, and society. Welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It, brought to you by FKP Advisors, and we thank them so much for their support. I love the people that are involved on the staff here at Men of Valor, all with specific roles. One of those is Michael Check, a former Army guy whose great job and what he does so well is he's able to go out into the community and convince them, the business people, to invest in this powerful organization. It means so much to him. The reason is because he has known Carl Carlson since he was a kid, and it put something into his life that has stayed all this time. So let's start with there. So somehow when you were a teenager, you got to meet Carl?
Yeah, so I met Carl when I was 16 years old. So I'm born and raised native Nashvilleian. I went to Glencliff High School, and Carl taught a program at Glencliff through Project Pencil, which is, a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And he taught an elective course that would help kids get out of, not get out, but help you get a job when you get out of school, especially if you didn't want to go to college. And so it was an old school program, how to fill out a job application, how to interview, the whole thing. And so anyway, Carl taught that.
Did he intimidate you a little bit?
And he came and spoke to our class my junior year, and I was in his class my senior year, and we loved him immediately. He was just
really.
Yeah.
How do you take that gruff side and still see the love in it?
Yeah, he was gruff and he was very intense, and the whole 9 yards. But he just cared about us. He just was always checking on you and wanting to know how you were doing. And so I've got a long history with Carl. He was like a father to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take me back a little bit. So you grew up in Nashville, Glencliff. Did you play sports?
I did.
What'd you play?
Basketball, and I was a track. I was a natural at track.
And what do you mean?
My love was basketball, though. But there's not a need for a short guard that shoots all the time that doesn't want to play defense.
Wait a minute, I was that. In high school, that's not bad.
Yeah, but in track, I ran the mile and half mile.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a tough event.
Yeah, and it is. It is. And then after I was out of the military, I ended up getting a scholarship.
What made you go in the military? Did you go to college or did you?
I did not want to go to college.
All right.
And I didn't want, I wasn't sure kind of what I wanted to do. And so I joined the military. Carl and I talked about that, and I joined the military.
I tell you, a lot of young guys who don't know what they're doing, go in the military.
It was perfect for me.
Yeah.
I was a paratrooper and came home and, ended up getting a scholarship at Lipscomb for track.
Really?
Yeah.
How did the military change you?
Oh, gosh. It gives a young person, especially me, an opportunity to grow up and to serve and do something meaningful while you're growing up. Discipline. Oh, I thrived on it. I was a somewhat disciplined kid, but it really honed it in. And I loved it. I mean, I was a good soldier and all that. It was great. It was great for me.
Look, you're still fit.
Yeah.
So you get out and you get a scholarship to Lipscomb.
Got a scholarship.
What did you study?
So when my freshman year, I was a PE major. I wanted to be a coach, but I had stayed in touch with Carl, and Carl had founded YCAP YMCA. It's a program for inner city youth and their families. At that time, it worked with first-time juvenile offenders. Carl had a passion for that, and so he and I stayed in touch, and I went to work for Carl at YCAP my summer after my freshman year, and it was a real life changer for me. I saw some things from, just what kids were growing up in, and it led me to change my major to behavioral science and social work, and so that's what I got my degree in.
We We kind of ran through it, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming you had a good parents, good
I
childhood.
did.
You didn't have a lot of our guys have had a lot of
Yeah.
trouble, but you didn't.
Yeah, no, I did. My great parents. They divorced when I was 3, but both of them, they did a great job as far as
Being
a
cordial.
divorce. Yeah, they were
Okay.
cordial to each other. Great, thank you, and never spoke negatively towards each other. I visited often. I lived with my mom. My dad was a huge part of my life. We were very, very close. Carl knew my father, but we all played ball together at the Y, and so yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
How
They did a good job as far as a divorce, divorced
good for
parents.
you.
Yeah.
How did it transition into Men of Valor?
Yeah, so I left YCAP after 10, 12 years with Carl, and I wanted to go into sales and went into corporate America, and I was an executive recruiter. I was a headhunter
Hmm.
with Southwestern, and great training, loved it. And Carl and I, if you know Carl, whatever he's involved in, you're involved with it. So I was part of the ministry since day one. And he and I talked over the years about me coming to work at Men of Valor, and it just never it was just never the right time, just based upon my career at that time. Um, but he passed away in 2014. Raul and I had met each other and stayed in touch, and um, we kind of talked for a couple of years, and the pull to get back into ministry was always there. And so I went home to my wife for the second time and said, I'm ready to leave corporate America and go back into nonprofit. And of course, she was like, I knew that this was coming, and, fully supportive and all that. And so I came here, gosh, 6, 7 years ago.
You've got a key role in that you're trying to get to sponsor every business,
Yeah.
even nonprofit, has to live on what people bring in.
Yeah.
So you don't have the direct contact with the guys that have gotten out of incarceration,
Right.
right?
That's correct.
But they are a part of your life. They're a
Yeah.
part of your sales, so you've got to know them
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. I have the benefit, if you will, of I get to build some relationships with the guys. But you're right, I'm not with them day to day. But certainly, if you're on staff, you get to know them, and certainly, again, build a relationship with them.
How do you sell Men of Valor? What do you tell people that are going, wait a minute, you're dealing with guys from who got out of prison?
Yeah.
How do you sell it?
Um, well, it's easy to sell something, if you will, that you 100% believe in. And so I look at Carl Carlson. I look at all these other men that have, given their life up to the Lord and have made, just wonderful, wonderful transitions and transformations. And so fundraising, if you will, is a relationship business. And so once people have a relationship with the ministry, then they give. And I look at fundraising as ministry in that I have a wonderful job in that I give people the opportunity to give. So even if I'm not doing my job, if our budget is fully funded, which it's not, but let's just, for example, if it's fully funded and I haven't asked someone to give, I'm not asking them so we can meet our budget. I'm asking them for them to have the opportunity to have a blessing so that they can receive that.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
See, I always say I can't sell anything.
Yeah.
But when you put it that way, look at the look on your
Yeah.
face. That is so good.
Yeah.
It's really changed you too.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
think
yeah.
all of this has made you a different man.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm full of gratitude and passion, for this ministry. And again, a lot of people say, and that's the first reaction, oh, you're in fundraising. Oh, you do this.
Yeah.
And, I'm not telemarketing at 6:00 at night, asking people for $100, this and that. It's an opportunity to bless people. And people think about you, that when you give money to something, how does that feel? Feels wonderful.
Good. Yeah.
And that's the way it is with Men of Valor.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. The name of the program is Put a Word on It. Have you got a word for me?
Gratitude.
I like it.
And the reason is I try to live my life in gratitude. I went through a period of time, 10, 15 years ago, where I was just wrecked with anxiety, and gratitude and prayer pulled me out of it. And so I journal every day and write a love letter to the Lord with gratitude.
You're saying, I'm saying to myself, well, we should have dug more into that depression period, but
Yeah.
I see the guy that's come out of it.
Yeah,
And so I see the gratitude in you.
Yeah.
I think that's a great word.
yeah,
Michael, thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Rudy.
Well, let me put a word on it, and I do love the word gratitude. It's just a wonderful way to go through life, and that's the way Michael Check feels. Gratitude that he can go out and sell this program. Gratitude of the changes that are made in men's lives here in this program. Gratitude for all that God has done to make this all available and something that can change and touch people's lives. So I enjoyed time with Michael. He's got this determination and this zeal for life that is infectious to be around. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time as we put a word out.